let's start our countdown for Christmas project. So to make the main frame of the project, you're going to need some mount boards or some chipboard. I'm using mount board here that I've got from Crafter's Companion. You can pick it up from their website. So this is the sturdy mount board, which is perfect. You're going to need two pieces that measure 6 inches by 6.5 inches, and then a third piece that measures 6 inches by 3.5 inches. I've already gone ahead and covered two of my main pieces with the lovely fresh white Centura pearl. Okay, so you need two of these Centura pearls measuring 6 inches by 6.5, and just glue those on with a wet glue. And then I've got two more pieces of the Centura pearl measuring 6 inches by the A4 in size. I'm using the self-adhesive Centura pearl here today, but you could quite easily just put a self-adhesive backing on or just wet glue, your choice. So let's get one of our pieces of the chipboard. So that's the piece that's covered, so I'm now going to go ahead and cover the other side. So just taking your time to line that up nicely. Okay, I'm just going to turn that over and give that a little burnish so we know that's nicely stuck down. And then if you just bend it slightly so we get a nice crease in the cardstock, we're going to then add the base piece for our project. So we're not going to butt it directly up, otherwise you will not be able to fold it. So what you need to do is you need to have a gap. The easiest way I've found to do that is to actually stand this piece of card upright, and then you can butt up to the edge of it, just making sure it's all lined up and that you're happy with it. Let me just line it up a bit better. I'm not quite happy with that. Yeah, happy with that now. Just give that another little burnish on that side. And then with a craft knife, if you don't want to use a craft knife, go in with a pair of scissors and just trim along the edge. Alright, so we've got the first half of our stand already constructed. So now we need to join on the second piece of the project. So I'm going to turn it around this way because I find it easier to work round that way. So another piece of the Centura pearl, I've got the backing on this one. And you may wonder why I've got holes, and this will come clear to you. So I'm just making sure I've got the right side down, so I'm going to need to go that way around and that way around, that's it. So let me bring, lining this up again with this, just taking your time to line it up. That's why I didn't give you the length measurement, because I think having the little gap, it's easier to trim off afterwards. Just making sure that's all lined up. Just giving that a nice rub down so that sticks nicely. And then again, we're just giving that a bit of a crease there. So we've got that nice fold there coming through. Let me go around this way. And this is going to join onto here. Again, you need to have that gap, so I find that easier to bring up, so just lining that up nicely. So you've got that nice gap there. Okay, so we're getting that A-frame look going on there. I'm not going to pull all this back because I don't want it to stick to the other piece of Centura pearl that I've got on the front here. So I'll flip that over, give that a quick rub down. And then go in with my craft knife again. And just run that along there. Bringing that out of the way. So we've got our A-frame to start with. Just making sure that's nicely stuck there. I might just need a bit of a tidy up. Yeah, I didn't go very straight down there. So I'm just going to tidy that along with my craft knife. There we go. Okay, so that's my A-frame there all done. You can have it either way round, choice is yours. Just going to take that out. Now you will have noticed that I've got a couple of holes I've already put in there. That is to put my book rings to hold the pages for the project. Now I'm using book rings for this, and these are measuring 5.5, sorry about that, book rings, and they're measuring 1.5 inches across. Okay, so book rings are those little, they clip open and close like that. If you've got a bind it all or a cinch, you know, anything like that that you want to do to put your pages on, you could quite easily use that as well. Okay, so if you've got one of those products, this is the great way to use it. So I've gone ahead and marked my holes already, and I've marked these in 1.5 inches on both sides and down 1/2 inch. Okay, so I've gone ahead and marked and made holes there already, but now I need to go in with my crocodile and now cut through the extra layer of Centura pearl we've put on. So I'm just lining that up, and we're going to do that on all 4 sides. Let me just take the piece out of there. So yes, if you've got a bind it all or a cinch, go ahead and use that for this project. It's perfect. They're just getting stuck inside here because I'm filming. And that one there. Okay, so they're all ready now for my book rings. So if I put my book rings in, you can see how that's coming together. One on there, and I'll put another one on there. Okay, so this is how it's all going to start coming together. And then the next thing you're going to need to do is to cut all your pages. So your pages, these need to be 5 3/4 inches across by 6 1/4 inches down, and you're going to need 13 of these. And what I did to line them up, so I get the holes in the right place, if I just take the book rings off here, I'll show you how I did it. Just slip those off. How I lined it up was I cut all my pages, I rounded my edges with my corner rounder, and then I lined them up with my baseboard, so you've got that 1/4 inch in or 1/8 of an inch in on each side and 1/4 of an inch from the bottom. And then again I lined it up so you can see the holes, but you won't see the holes because you've not got any holes on here. So what you'd do is you'd line up your piece of, or your pages, and then just go in again with either your crocodile or a hole punch and just punch through. And then at least when you've got one done like that, you know where the markings are for the rest of your 13 pages. And what I did, because I'm using a crocodile, you could group several pages together and punch a hole through several at one time. So that's the main mechanism for the start of the project. And the next thing we need to do now is to go ahead and start decorating our pages. So this is the countdown for Christmas, so it's like an adult advent calendar if you like. So I'm going to go and decorate all my pages using the wonderful elements from Sara's Winter Wonderland collection. I'm going to come back to you in a minute when they're all decorated and talk you through what I've used and how I've made them. I've got all my pages done now. You can see they're all looking quite chunky actually. They're all decorated and I've really enjoyed playing with this paper collection. So this was my front cover that said the Christmas countdown, so I've used the nice foiled paper, this lovely, you know, the mirror board here. The countdown piece itself I actually printed out on my computer, and then I've used the foil, the rub-ons, the foil transfers. So you've got the transfers here. I've actually used those then just to decorate around the edge and some of the lovely twine that's on there. So that is our first page. So let's slip that onto the frame. Okay, don't worry about what's on the back because I'll show you that in a minute. Oh, I've lost one of my flowers. Anyway, so this is page number 1. I've used some of the paper pad. This was from the 12x12. You've got one of the elements that you can cut into 4. And then I've cut it again and I've decoupaged all the parcels on there. I've used the lovely twine and I've die cut the numbers using Sara's Happy Birthday collection. So, but you could use any numbers that you've got in your crafty stash quite easily. Here I've used the acetate. So I've got the acetate as my background here. Some of those snowflakes. The lovely snowflake edgeable that comes in the collection as well. And this beautiful silver twine. So I'm just going to thread these on while we're going along so you can see what I've been doing. Number 3, again, I've used the paper pad collection here. This is one of the stamps and dies from the collection, but this time with the stamp, I stamped with Versamark, and I've used Sara's special embossing powder that she's put in this collection. This is something quite new. So I've used the embossing powder on here, and then I've stamped some little stars from the stamp set, and then these 2 elements here are the transfer foils. So I've used quite a few elements on there. Oh, I've used the transfer foils along the bottom here. I forgot to tell you. So let's thread that one on. This one again, I've used an element from the paper pad collection, and then all these little furs and these little twigs are all dies from the collection. So I've die cut some out in mirror board and put some spectral noir alcohol pens on them to colour them up. This is some twine here, and then I've just cut these out of some green cardstock that I had in my crafty stash. So you can really go to town with this project and make it your own. Again, the paper pad, this time this beautiful sentiment here is from the transfer foil collection, so I've just used that on there. So I've kept that one quite simple. Oh, didn't pop that on there. Here are the 3 beautiful trees. These come as one die set totally, so you've got 3 trees here. The background, I've got the embossing folder from the collection, and then along the bottom and the top here, these are using the stamps from the collection. Here I've used the reverse, or if you like, the bit you cut out from that beautiful big snowflake that comes in the collection, and I've cut this onto this the beautiful glitter card that you get. You know, with the glitter card pack you get 3 colours, and it's absolutely stunning. And all I've done is I've gone in and put some gems from my crafty stash there. The stripy paper is from the paper collection, and the Hello Winter is a foil transfer also from the collection. This time I've cut out that majestic star. This is a beautiful star. You get 2 dies with this pack. You get the inside and the outside. I've used the paper pad at the back and this beautiful glitter to die cut into to make that star really stand out. Here I've used one of the embossing folders. This is one of the 6x6 embossing folders as the background, and then I've die cut the little snowflakes and put them around it like a little wreath. The Joy, this also comes as a 2-part die. There's lots of words in the collection for this, and then right round the edge I've actually used some embossing powder. So all I did was with my card I stuck it into the Versamark sponge just so it caught the edge of the cardstock, and then I've sprinkled on the white, it's like a sparkly white embossing powder on there, and that's what I've used to finish that edge off. This, I just had to use this on its own. I just think it's absolutely amazing. It's one die itself, so it just cuts this beautiful panel out of snowflakes. But I just thought it was so beautiful. All I've done is mount it on some of the foil card that comes in the card collection, and I've just put it on there on its own, and this is die cut beautifully out of that mirrorboard card in the blue. Here I've actually embossed some of the mirrorboard in one of the embossing folders. This is the one with the swirls and the holly on, and then this is that beautifully lacy elegant tree, and it die cut perfectly out of the glitter card that comes in the collection. You can see how crisp it's cut out. It was just beautiful, and it does have a little stand on it, but I've just trimmed that off to put onto this project. So just showing with your tree as well, you can use it in several different ways, and I've just added some little gems from my crafty stash. Here, now this was something quite different actually. I haven't done this before. This was using the foil transfers again, and you see this big panel here at the bottom. This is a large 6x6 panel, and I'd already used it on another project, and this was the waste from it. So this is the piece of paper, the carrier sheet if you like, that carries the glue. Well, of course I transferred it and used it on another project, and I don't like to throw away these carrier pieces. So what I did was I actually sprayed it with my stick and spray very carefully. I sprayed it all over in short bursts, left it a minute, and then I've actually mounted it onto a piece of Centura Pearl, and you cannot see where the glue is at all. It's just a great way to use the bits that we have left from our foil transfers. So it's something I haven't tried before, and I can highly recommend it. So get yourself some stick and stay, and use your stick and stay to attach it to your cardstock so you get another use out of it. And then on top of that again, I've used this majestic star. I've die cut it twice. I've cut the middle piece out of the blue mirror card, and then round the edge, can you see this very thin silver glittery outline to it? The die comes in 2 parts, and this is the second part of the die. So I've just die cut that out in the glitter card just to give that beautiful effect. So that's my pages. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to join my book rings together, and then I'll flip over and I'll just show you the rest of my pages. So we put on, ooh, if I bring this up, so that was number 12. Okay, then that flips over, and this is why we've only cut 13 of these, because then you bow back on yourself again. So this is page 13. So I've used the paper collection here, I've used that big snowflake, and then I've die cut it out again. I don't know if you can quite see that, in the acetate cardstock that comes in this paper collection. You know, the collection just has everything you're going to need, and this is why I thoroughly enjoyed just using every element from it. So that was the acetate card, and then I just cut a little snowflake to put in the middle, and I've just used some gems from my crafty stash. So these fold back on themselves. This is that Christmas tree again. With the Christmas tree die, you get 2 edges. So you can cut it out as one like I did on a previous number, or this time I've cut out one side. Again, I've stamped it and I've heat embossed it with the lovely embossing powders. And then I've just added some of the paper from the paper collection, and then at the background here is some of that foiled cardstock that I've just inked very lightly with a blue ink pad. This is another embossing folder, another 6x6. There's 2 in the collection themselves, and again I've just embossed this onto some of that matte mirror card, because the matte mirror card is beautiful. And then the word Noel, so this is comes from the die word collection. You get die words and stamps in that set, and so you get the word itself, and then you get the background cut apart piece as well. Here's that majestic snowflake again, but again I've taken it off the page a bit, giving it a bit more of a contemporary look. And again, this is the negative. So I die cut this out the matte mirror, popped it to the corner, I put my die back in, and then all these little bits that we throw away, I then stuck these in situ like paper piercing. So I'm putting these pieces back in, so we're putting the card back in, and then I remove the big snowflake. So this is all in the background, all around the edge here, it's all in that background, and then this is all paper pierced and stuck onto the top. But it just looks so elegant, doesn't it? That beautiful paper pad, isn't it glorious, with these blue poinsettias? It's just stunning. And here I've used the joy words again, and then this is some of the stamps that come with it. So this says joy to the world, and then I don't know whether you can quite pick it up on the camera, but the big flowers and that here, I've just gone with my Versamark pen. So it's a pen rather than the pad. I've picked up some detail, and I've used the clear embossing powder that comes in the collection. There's one that's white and one that sort of comes as a very glittery clear look, and that's what I put on there to make that big flower stand out. This is using again that beautiful glittery card. I love the glittery card. I've used one of the foil transfers in the back of the tree there, so I die cut the tree out. Again, this is the negative, so this is the bit that we probably wouldn't keep, but you just got to keep it. You can use it, so you can use your negatives as well as your trees themselves. And then using the foil transfer, I've stuck that beautiful sentiment in there: we wish you a Merry Christmas. This is the reverse of the embossing folder that we used on that page. Okay, the reverse is just as nice to use, and I've die cut that snowflake again on that angle. So where we used it on the previous one, this is same idea, just taking it half off the page and adding some gems from my crafty stash. And then the stamp here is from the stamp collection. It says Winter Wonderland, so I've just stamped that in some blue ink from my stash. Look at that star, isn't it just stunning? It looks beautiful in the silver glitter card, and it die cuts an absolute dream. Here, these elements just in the corners here, both of these are from the foil transfer collection. okay, and I've actually mounted this on the back of the foil or the cardstock that you get, the luxury cardstock, and I've just kept it white. This is the iridescent, I don't know whether you can quite pick it up, but it's like iridescent card, but I just kept it with the white because I thought it looked absolutely stunning. Using the little snowflakes this time, I've die cut out, again this is the negative. You know, I'm really enjoying the negatives to these as well as the positives, and that's the great thing about it. So these are the negatives, just die cut in again to that luxury cardstock. I haven't used the iridescent one this time, just used the plain luxury cardstock, but it just looks gorgeous. And then I've mounted this onto the glitter cardstock so it pops out from the back there. Here the background is the paper collection, and this is that beautiful tree. And can you see what I mean when it's got a stand on it? Didn't use it before, I trimmed it off, but this is with the stand on. And then the Merry Christmas word here again is from the foil transfers. Here I had right fun. This is the Merry Christmas words, and with this die set you get the Merry Christmas word, but you also get this outline background. So I've die cut the word out the foil and the background out the glitter card, and then using some of the paper collection I've just done a strip of card there with the blue foil in around the edge, and then I've just used some of the stamps with some blue ink just to give it that finishing touch. We're getting near Christmas now, so we had to do a parcel. So I've used some of the paper from the paper pad, that foiled beautiful, this is the matte mirror foiling, and I've popped that through the embossing folder there. And then I've used 2 pieces of the twine, this is the silver and white and the blue and white, and I put them together and I've just wrapped it up like a parcel because it's the 24th and we're getting close to Christmas. And then last but not least, it's Christmas Day. So I've just used one of the die cuts which looks like a wreath. I've cut round the edge. I've actually matte and layered this onto some of the extra cardstock, and then I've die cut my Merry Christmas again and stuck that on without the backing this time. And then all these blue poinsettias are from the paper collection, so I've just fussy cut round them. I've popped Versamark on the big ones, so I put them on my ink pad stamp, and then I've heat embossed those with that clear glittery embossing powder that comes in the collection, so it just gives them a real touch of sparkle. So that's all the pages to my project. You can see how much fun I've had playing with the collection because it has been an absolute joy to use. But the thing I like about this is it's a bit of an adult advent calendar, perfect for Christmas. You know, you could make this for a gift and give to somebody as a pre-Christmas present. You know, you could give this to somebody if you were going to their house before Christmas. You know, it's just a bit of fun. I've thoroughly enjoyed doing it. It's very substantial. There's 13 pages on here, but because I've used this mount board covered by the Centura Pearl, it just stands absolutely beautifully. You know, you could take this and have this on your desk at work. You know, if you're out at work and you still want to have a bit of Christmas on your desk just to cheer you up. You know, imagine going into work every day and just turning those pages over to be able to use them. But it's one of those projects you are going to get out year after year, and you are going to thoroughly enjoy using it, and that is the nice thing about it. I've enjoyed using the collection. I know you too will, and I hope you make your own project that you will bring out each year as well.